Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to episodes 6 and 7 of Free. Oh yeah, we're doing 2 episodes this week, and I think I should probably explain why, for all those who may be curious and aren't part of the Discord server. So I announced just yesterday on the Discord server, and I'm going to make another announcement video tomorrow, but I have to wait till tomorrow, um, because I can't mess up the upload order because my 1000th video is coming to the channel. Um, but I announced on Discord yesterday that, and again, I'll announce tomorrow, probably sometime afternoon, evening, in another video, that I am dropping Milo Murphy's Law. And I'm going to explain here, but again, I'll explain more in detail in that video. To put it simply, I like the series. And so you may be wondering, okay, if you like the series, then why are you dropping it? Doesn't that go against your rule? Well, no. See, my rule is I have to have no interest in reacting to it. Or, I mean, technically no interest in watching it. Either can work. But that's the thing. I don't have an interest in reacting to the series anymore because of one specific reason. I think that Milo Murphy's Law, in much of the same way that its predecessor, Phineas and Ferb, is a better series for binging a shit ton of episodes at once. And I'm saying this as someone who doesn't normally like binging, except in certain circumstances. There are certain circumstances where I'm okay with binging a series, where I think that it actually helps the series because it's one of those that you just want to keep going on, you know? Phineas and Ferb was very much that way. I didn't watch Phineas and Ferb, like, actively as new episodes were coming out and stuff. I just watched a bunch of reruns and just watched it whenever I could. And I have seen all the episodes by this point, by the way. But it's just like, I didn't actively watch it as it was coming out. I watched a bunch of episodes at a time, every now and then, basically. And I definitely think it helps with the experience because a lot of the series for Phineas and Ferb and what I'm noticing with Milo Murphy's Law is very, very formulaic. Like, both shows do well at mixing things up enough to make each episode interesting, but at the same time, it still has that formulaic feeling to it, to the point where I just feel like this is a series that would be better to watch on my own time, just as I get to it, basically. Which, knowing me, won't be as super often or regular with us watching it and everything. But still, I think it would be better to watch it on my own time and watch, like, as many episodes as I can at a time. Because, oh, excuse me. Because as it stands, I don't think it's good for reactions. I just don't think I want to react to it anymore. And again, I still like the series. It's not like amazing or anything, but I still like it. And I think it's definitely worth checking out. I just don't want to react to it specifically anymore. So that means we will be getting to a new poll. And the poll video will be, basically, it will be at the same time as I upload the info tomorrow on why there was no Milo Murphy, for those who don't see this. It'll basically just be one video. Oh, new Monday poll and why Milo Murphy is canceled and stuff. So yeah. As such, I'm doing 2 episodes of Free today to kind of make up for it. And I'm doing a second other video because I do have to have 2 videos uploaded to YouTube today. Because the 2 episodes of Free are technically one video. It's one redirect. So I'm doing one other special video that I worked on last night, and I'm actually really proud of. It's something fun, I can tell you that much. But yeah, that will be up later today. Well, later today, as of when I'm recording this, that will probably actually be uploaded before this video is. But yeah, so I hope you enjoy that as well. But then going into that, what I said about the 1000th video, that will be a live stream actually. And that will be tomorrow. So there will be a 1000th video live stream. It'll be the 1000th video on the channel, which will basically just be the, the live streams, what's it called? Playback. So that will be tomorrow. Oh, goodness, excuse me. I walked a little bit earlier and it's pretty hot out, so I'm a little tired from that. Um, but yeah, so expect the live stream tomorrow. I won't tell you what it's going to be about, but it's going to be fun. And there's no set time limit on it either, so that's going to make it interesting too. 11 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow, though. I'll probably schedule that tonight. But either way. Okay, so back to Free, back to the topic of this actual video. So last time on Free, our group, the Iwatobi Swim Club, started their training camp. And their camp is basically going to this island. They got permission to go to this island and are camping out on the beach. Except the girls, Go and Miss A, who are staying at a nearby lodge. But they're camping at the beach, and they're practicing swimming between a group of islands each day. They swim from one island to the next, jog across it, and then swim to the next island, so on and so forth. And I think they said it's about 1 kilometer. I might be completely wrong on that because they're using terms I am not familiar with, like terms of measurement, because it's not, I guess, terms that are common in just everyday American measurement uses, unless you're like in swimming or that kind of stuff. And I've never been in that kind of thing outside of gym class. So yeah, it's not stuff I'm super familiar with. Oh my goodness, I am just so yawny today. But yeah, so it's something like that. And they've been doing some training, but Ray is still feeling like the weakest of the bunch. And to be fair, even though he's my favorite character, he is. He is the weakest of the group because he's barely learned how to swim, and only with one style. He wants to try to get better, even if just at that style, to be able to pull his own weight within the club. So one night he decides to head out and do some late night swimming practice while everyone else is asleep. Unfortunately, a storm comes out of, well, not really out of nowhere, but a storm comes up and he ends up getting in trouble due to his weaker swimming ability. He's especially, even though he's not too far off of the shore, he's not in a good position. Makoto finds out about this. Makoto wakes up and sees that he's gone and finds out he's out there. And despite having some issues with the ocean that we found out about, he rushes in to save his new friend. And that's kind of where it leaves off. It leaves us on a cliffhanger. So yeah, what I expect is I obviously expect Makoto to be able to save him. Like, nothing's going to happen to Ray. And we're going to learn about exactly what it is that is so upsetting about the ocean for Makoto. We've gotten a couple glimpses at it, and I think it has something to do with like someone having drowned in the ocean before, someone that he knew and was close to. But I'm not 100%. So they're probably going to explain it like in detail in this episode. I really wish I could stop doing that. They're probably going to explain it in detail, and we're going to get all the information, and that's going to be good. We also know that on the island that they're staying on, there's also a swimming, an actual swimming training camp that Reen's school is at, his swimming club is at. So we got to see Go and Reen have a little bit of a, sibling bonding moment. And we see that we could clearly tell that Reen does very much care for his sister. And she obviously cares greatly for him. I I still say that it's kind of painting Reen as this character who's actively trying to be a dick. Like he's not actually a bad person, but he's so focused on wanting to like legitimately win a swimming match with his name is escaping me. Is it Haru or something like that? Something like that. Mr. Freestyle. Reen is so obsessed with that he's kind of pushing his friends away because he doesn't want to get distracted. He doesn't want to have any possibility of losing. He's become so obsessed with it. And it's hardened him. But that doesn't mean that he's not a good person still underneath that. And I think that's definitely what they're going for. At least I hope it is. But we'll have to see. Um, oh my god. I am so sorry about that. In the meantime, we're just going to get this started. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay. So in the first 5 episodes of this series, 5 episodes prior to today, I had already really gotten into this. Like, the characters are fantastic, well-developed, have a lot of depth to them. The story itself is really good. The dynamics, the visuals, the voice acting, all of it is fantastic. But these 2 episodes, I think, cemented it for me. And really just confirmed that, yeah, I love this show. And I want to talk again. I want to bring up again a minute how I really didn't think this was going to ever come to this point. So I think the first time I really heard about Free, really heard about it, I think I had known about it for a long time, but the first time I really heard about it was at Youmacon. I don't remember what year. Honestly, I don't even know what year Free came out. I'm actually curious about that. Let me check. But yeah. Okay, 2013. So it could have been my first year of Youmacon, which was 2013. Either way, one of the years, probably one of my first years then, I had heard about it and everything. I had seen people cosplaying it and all. And I didn't really know anything about it other than it was about swimming. And as the years progressed, I started hearing about people shipping certain characters, but I never paid a lot of attention because I'll be honest, I was never into sports anime, and I consider this a sports anime. Yeah. Swimming, especially competitive swimming, is a sport. Um, so yeah, I never showed a lot of interest in it at all. The character designs I had seen here and there, and I never thought too much of them. They seemed just, not bad, just nothing special or anything, nothing that really caught my eye. Um, and I was just never really interested. But then came along one of the years of Youmacon, and Vic Mignogna came to the convention. Um, and at the time, this was prior to me knowing about all of Vic's creepiness and just terrible actions. At the time, I still looked up to Vic Mignogna greatly, especially for his role in Fullmetal Alchemist / Brotherhood as Edward Elric. And he hosted a panel where he was in cosplay as Reen. He had the wig, he had the suit, the school tracksuit or whatever. Um, he was in full cosplay as his character. And during his panel, which was a big Q&A thing, and he talked about his different roles and stuff, Free was brought up a lot. People really seemed to love it. They talked, when people were asking questions, they talked a lot about it. They asked him his thoughts on certain parts about it, and I don't remember all the details. Obviously, I think one of the questions had to do with Rin and Haru, and the ship and everything, but that's about it. That I remember. I do remember that he did sing at that panel, though. I do remember that much for sure. Um, but either way, it was because I looked up to him so much at the time that I gained kind of this interest in checking out the show, but I never did. I never ended up doing it, and honestly, that's kind of the story of my life. I get interested in a show and just never end up actually checking it out. um, so yeah, I gained an interest in it at that point, and I continued to hear about it and continued to tell myself, okay, I'm going to check it out. And again, I never did. And then when this channel and everything really came about, like really came about, and I really started doing reactions and all. And then, of course, we switched to the new channel, and I was doing the polls and everything. Of course, yeah, I was going to like, oh, this is a series I want to see. Let's just put it on the poll. And eventually it won. And so it's like, yeah, this series that I had grown interested in checking out, I was finally going to. And of course, at this time, I know everything about Vic, and yeah, not really a fan. And even back when I first met him at that convention, at that Youmacon, and even the second time I met him at Youmacon, because he actually came to multiple ones, I met him twice at Youmacon. Both times, like looking back on it, I can definitely see a lot more of how creepy it was that I was just like kind of ignoring because of how much I looked up to him at the time, especially in the second encounter with him where he forced himself into a picture that I was taking with Todd Haberkorn. Um, yeah, not exactly fond of that moment, but I mean, I got to still get a picture with Todd Haberkorn, and I still really admire him as a voice actor. um, but yeah, it's just like either way, not getting into the entire Vic thing too much here, but yeah. Um, so I was glad I finally get to check it out, but I still, even when it was put on the poll, even when it was voted on, I still didn't think I was going to like it. And I've said this before, that I honestly thought I was going to end up dropping this. And from everything I had seen, everything I knew about it going into it beforehand, which again, very little to be fair, I didn't think it was going to be for me. I thought it was going to be kind of generic. I thought it was going to be kind of silly, uh, kind of super underwhelming in its writing and whatnot. I did not expect to be this surprised. And that happens every now and again, where a show just completely catches me off guard and is so much better than I could have ever imagined. I mean, I could say the same about Ore Monogatari. If you don't know, Ori Monogatari is a romance slice of life that came out a few years back. I don't remember exactly when. I want to say maybe 2015, 2016. Um, but yeah, it was a really phenomenal series that focused on a romance between this giant of a guy who has like a really tough look, has these like this monstrous size, these big lips, kind of has this really intimidating appearance, but is actually a really just nice, helpful, loving guy. And then there's this cute, bubbly, sweet, tiny little girl, not little girl as in age, but in size, who he forms a meaningful romantic relationship with. Um, and they just connect and bond in such an amazing way, and they have amazing chemistry, and they're so fucking cute together. And I didn't expect to like that one either, because I'm also not huge into rom-com anime. I'm not huge into romantic slice-of-life comedies. It's not as much my thing. But I adored that series, and I still do. I look at it very fondly. I love the characters. I love their dynamics. Not just Takeo and his girlfriend, who I cannot think of the name of right now. Yet I can remember Takeo's name perfectly, Takeo Goda. Um, Not only them, but Takeo also had a best friend who was important to the story, and he was great as well, and especially with his dynamic with Takeo. Yeah, just the characters in general were so fantastic and everything. And this is kind of making me think about that. A series I really didn't expect to like, a series I expected to drop, not only just surprising me, but making me fall in love with it. And the first 5 episodes, again, I really enjoyed and I thought really hooked me in. But these are the 2 episodes that really, I feel, especially episode 6, um, really made me love this series. Because these characters, their dynamics, the depth that is given to them, it's fantastic. And it even takes some twists and turns you wouldn't expect. So let's talk about these. So episode 6 continues off of where episode 5 left off. Ray goes off for a midnight swim, gets caught up in a storm. Since he's not the greatest swimmer, is having trouble in the shaky waters and all. Makoto goes out to save him, but ends up kind of freezing because of his fear of the ocean. Haru and Nagisa help, and they end up getting just not really stranded, but they end up getting stuck on one of the other islands for the night and head back over in the morning. During the night, though, they stay at this just kind of abandoned care center, I think, something like that, and that also has a lighthouse attached to it. And they just spend the night hanging out and talking. And this includes Makoto telling Nagisa and Ray, both of whom don't know, about what happened in his past. So, Makoto, when he was young, made friends with this older fisherman. They became good friends, and at one point, the fisherman died in a typhoon. He wasn't that far from the shore, but his boat went under, and him and the others on the boat all died. And while he was never really sad about it, Makoto grew this deep fear of the ocean because of it, because someone he cared about was killed on the ocean. Someone died. And so because of it, it kind of became this PTSD-like thing. He grew just, he had this traumatic experience, losing someone who he really cared deeply about, and it scared the shit out of him. And he thought he had been getting past it, but he hadn't, and it messed up his rescue of Ray a little bit. But everyone was fine. Everyone got out of it unharmed. So no one blamed him or anything, which is good. But we see how this has affected him, how much it shook him. And it's a great moment. And of course, then after the night's over, they swim back and they just kind of rest on the shore. We also find out, and I think this was in the second episode, that Rin, I'm talking about this real quick because it's connected to this plot point, that Rin's father died when he was young. And that apparently Rin's father was a fisherman who died in that same typhoon. Makoto's friend was a fisherman. And it showed Rin's father at early stages in his life, but the later stages, closer to when he was going to die and everything, it purposefully hid his face. Why do I feel like Rin's father was that fisherman who became friends with Makoto? I'm really starting to think that. And if that's the case, that is actually amazing. Because it's like, those are two characters you wouldn't necessarily think to connect. Like Haru and Rin, oh yeah, of course. And Go, obviously, being Rin's sister. Those are the two on the Iwatobi Swim Club who you would connect to Rin, obviously. But Makoto, it's like, even though Makoto is like childhood friends with Haru, and they're very, very close, like, you wouldn't necessarily think to connect Makoto himself with Rin. So to have that kind of connection is really fascinating. And there could be a lot they could do with it. they could do some interesting things to build Reen having connections to the other members of the Iwatobi Swim Club. Um, and with that possibility out there, they could even do something with him having some connection to Nagisa or even Rei at some point. And obviously not in the same manner as this, but like once he starts to obviously chill the fuck out a little bit, um, maybe he'll even be on good terms with them at some point. But yeah, so the second episode here, episode 7, focused on the aftermath of the training camp and the beginning of the tournament that they've been working towards, the prefectural tournament. Their first tournament as a swim club and their first chance to really prove themselves. The first event that they're put into is the freestyle swim. And of course, Haru and Reen are right next to each other, placed by their specific numbers. Now, of course, we know that their rivalry's been a big thing for this series, and that Reen's entire motivator at this point is to defeat Haru. I didn't think it was going to happen at this point. This is only halfway through the series. There's still like 5 episodes to go after this. Reen won. Barely, honestly. It was super close, but he won. Also, I'll get to it in a minute, but I do want to mention, why was Haru disqualified from moving on if he was in second place? I don't understand all the rules behind swimming competitions, so maybe you guys might have to fill me in on that. But I'll get to that more in a moment. But yeah, I did not expect that. Like, I expected Reen to eventually beat Haru, but I expected it more to be at the end of the season. I thought that was going to be a big deal, but what happens at the very end of this episode I want to talk about first, because that's important. After Reen beats Haru, he looks Haru in the face, he calls out to him while Haru's still down in the water, and he's like, this means I never have to get in the water with you again. I never have to race you again. And Haru looks horrified by that. Like, in these episodes, Haru has shown a great deal more emotion than he has in previous ones. We see that Haru, yeah, he can be stoic and everything sometimes, but he does care about people. He does have a lot of emotion, and that's awesome. But that is the first time I think I've seen him look actually terrified of something. And I think that gives me a hint of where this second half of the season might be going. Reen finally won. He defeated Haru in a fair, completely unbiased way. He was better. Just no holds barred was better. And I think that's the point. Haru is now going to have to face the fact that he lost. But more so, I think he's upset that Reen is saying that he never has to race him again. This second half, I think, is going to be about mending their relationship. I don't think they're necessarily going to become best friends yet or anything. That might have to wait until season 2 or whatnot. But I think the second half of the season, the last 5 episodes we've got, is going to be about mending their relationship. Now that Reen has finally won, they're going to work on that. They're going to work on rebuilding the friendship they used to have. Even if just a little bit for now. And I think it's going to go into where, at the final part of the season, is where they're really going to have to confront each other about all of this, about how they've acted towards each other, about their goals in life and what drove them apart in the first place. I thought that this season was going to end with them competing against each other, and that's where Reen was finally going to win. And even for a second here, after Reen won, I thought he was going to hold out his hand and congratulate Haru nonetheless, tell him you did good and everything. For a second there, that's where I thought it was going to go, because that's actually how I thought the season was going to end. But no, I actually think different now. I think the season will end with them having to work things out. Now, I might be wrong. I might be. But I really hope that's where it goes because I feel like that's definitely the next big thing that Haru and Rin as characters need to tackle. That's been a big focal point for their characters. And while Rin winning was definitely something they definitely had to build up to and accomplish in this series, and well, honestly, just this season, they definitely still have to tackle that as well. Um, and so I'm really hoping to see that. So, but yeah, let's go back into the fact that Haru's not moving on. Why? He was second place and it was super fucking close. Like, Rin touched like a split second before him, basically. Haru should be moving on because of that, right? Shouldn't it be the fastest times? I don't know. Again, I don't know much about swim race rules and regulations and all and how that's all determined. So you guys might have to correct me on that. But I don't know. That seems weird to me. I don't know. Um, I assume Haru still gets to compete in the relay. He's just out of this race, out of this, like, the race is going to continue on. It has its different levels and its different stages and all. Rin's going to continue on. But I assume Haru is still going to compete in the relay with everyone else. But yeah, this is a big deal as well, not only because of the entire Rin winning part and how that could change where the second half of this season's going to go, but I also feel this is a big deal because Haru lost. This first half of the season has built up Haru as an amazing swimmer, and even though he lost, he still did amazing. It built him up as this amazing swimmer who, while swimming freestyle, and that's what he likes to do, is a damn good competitor and everything. So it's like the fact that in their first tournament, their first big event, Haru loses is something that's actually really shocking. But I think that's a good thing. The fact that they caught me as the viewer off guard and probably caught a lot of viewers off guard. The fact that they had him lose at this point, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the sports festival in My Hero Academia, Season 2. Because the sports festival, it's like, in a lot of shows, you would expect, okay, the main character is going to win. You've seen Yu Yu Hakusho. You see Yusuke win the Dark Tournament and all that. You see all these different kind of events, and you expect our main character to win. But then you have My Hero Academia, and it's like Izuku not only didn't win, but threw away his chance at winning in order to help Todoroki. And while that's not the case here, while Haru didn't throw away his chance in order to help Rin or anything, that makes it even a little more shocking. Haru just straight up lost. Completely fairly. But just like it was with Deku in My Hero Academia, it's still shocking. It's intensely surprising to have the main character lose in a big tournament like this. And another difference, though, is that Izuku at least made it into the second round. He defeated Shinso still. Granted, barely, but Haru didn't even make it past the first round. He lost right away. That's insane. That's just completely insane. But awesome. It shows that they're willing to mix things up and show that there's more important things going on here. This relationship between Haru and Rin, their broken friendship, it's more important, and I think it's definitely going to be more the focal point going forward than whether or not Haru wins. That's not going to be as important to him. And I really am so happy for that. Because they're building these characters into having so much depth, having so much character to them, that doing this actually helps with that. It shows that they're not just going to forsake these characters to have them uh, just pull off a cliche victory when, the main character has to win. No, they're not going to do that. This really surprised me in the best way. I think that this is one of the biggest reasons why I now love this show. Like, really, truly love this show. Because they show the creators, the writer, whoever wrote the original manga or whatever, the people working on the anime, just everything. It's all showing how much passion they have for this project. How important these characters are to them. How they want to make sure you understand what is the important aspect of this series. Yes, it's a swimming anime, but let's be honest, it's not about the swimming. It's not about the sport. It's about the people in it. It's about our characters. It's about the stories being told. And they're showcasing that. And that's awesome. That's fantastic. This is what I wanted this show to do. Even though I did not expect to like this, even though I expected to drop it, of course, I wanted to be surprised. I wanted to be amazed. I wanted to love this. And it succeeded in every possible way. I care for these characters in a show that I normally wouldn't like. I care about these characters. I care about the story. I care about where this is going. I'm a fan. I am a legitimate fan of this series. And I guess that's really the big way to describe the change in my feelings towards it. Because, again, I really enjoyed it in its first 5 episodes. But after these 2 episodes, I'm not just a viewer who enjoys this series anymore. I'm a fan of this series. I think I talked about last time how I'm hoping now at Youmacon coming up to see free cosplayers and stuff. And that's still the case. I'm really excited to see free cosplayers. I'm excited to put them in my cosplay music video, to get pictures, to compliment them on their costumes. I want to see that now, more than ever. I'm excited to see that. And the same can be said for a lot of other shows. Carol and Tuesday would be a great example. If I see Carol and Tuesday cosplayers, I am going to fangirl the fuck out. Especially if it's actually 2 people cosplaying Carol and Tuesday together, that I will lose my shit. Not really. I'll probably keep calm, but I will make a beeline straight to them to ask them if I could get some video or at least a photo. But yeah, I really am excited. And I really want to see some free cosplayers. And hell, if there's a free panel, I might go to it. Though, I'm a little wary of that because it might have spoilers for future seasons that I wouldn't have seen yet. So I'm a little cautious about that. Now, one thing I do want to bring up is what this means for, like, future seasons. Because a lot of the times I'll, like, oh, if I enjoy it, I'll, like, watch the first season, and then the second season will pop up on the poll and everything, and it'll have to be voted for again. But if this second half of this season ends well enough, I might just move straight into season 2. I might. It's all going to depend on how well it ends here. But if it ends well enough, I might just move straight into season 2 and just continue reaction straight up. I am enjoying this that fucking much. I am such a fan of this now. And it's like, yeah, my favorite characters are still, Rei, Go and Miss A. Sure. But that doesn't mean I don't like the other characters. I love all of the characters. Hell, we even got a moment in these episodes between Reen and his teammate, who I don't actually know the name of. But we got a moment of them that could honestly lead to some shipping fuel. Where we kind of see how much this guy looks up to Reen and how much just admiration he puts on him, and how the fact that Reen is only competing in one event upset him, because he really honestly just wants to see him compete more and wants to see him succeed and win. And we see how Reen is actually a really nice guy. And that this kind of front he puts on is all because of his goals to become a great swimmer and to beat Haru, one of which is now completed. So yeah, it's just like, it was a really great scene in and of itself, and it really helps hammer home just how much depth these characters have. So yeah, just all in all, I loved these episodes. Hell, I've been talking about it according to the recording timer for just under 30 minutes now. That's insane. But tell me in the comments below what you thought of these 2 episodes of Free. And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time. Hey everyone, Connie here, and thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. If you want to check out any of my social media links and more, please check them out over to the side. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, please leave those down below. In the meantime, though, thank you so much once again for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.